G'day, it's Rick at Estimating Online. Today I'm going to show you a full complete demo of the program that we have built. We're going to complete a double story estimation and we're going to do it from start to finish. So the login process is simple. You go into Create Pro Estimate and you can start by populating contact details, project address, company name, contact details, which is all going to populate back into the PDF. The first step we need to do is we do need to review our site. Now the first question we ask is it a sloping site? This project is a sloping site. As you can see from the elevations, there is a slight fall from the center of the house to the rear of the house. I wouldn't say it's a massive slope. Anything greater than approximately 800 mil to a meter is going to incur in a sloping site. So we've got sloping site, double story, standard material, medium complexity, medium finishes, and custom home builder. Complexity means is your trades and are your suppliers going to view the project as complex? Because if they view it as complex, they're going to increase the construction prices. The general fixtures and fittings is all based on the type of builder that we're going to be building for. So it's going to be producing the best estimation possible to get down into what we need to do. The building area is the most important element of the estimation. This is where we got to capture the actual square meters of the build. When we go and calculate the square meters of the build, we need to take into consideration that this square meters is going to allow for earthworks, slab area, walls, framing, ceiling, insulation, and roof area. If you're doing a double story house like this, you still are going to measure the ground floor area and you're going to measure the upper floor area, as we'll move on to that shortly. As we've selected a double story house, it's going to allow for scaffolding, it's going to allow for one staircase, and any other requirements of steel that might be situated inside the slab. Because we did say this house was sloping, we're going to take a rough measurement of the total square meters of the approximate area of the build that is going to be sloping. I'm not going to be perfect when I do this square meters. As you can see, I've gone past the actual building area. The total square meters on the right is 90 square meters. When I go into my estimate, I'm going to select 95 square meters. I'm also going to add some hard digging costs into the project, and we've got excessive amount of options to choose from. Due to the size of the roof, we're going to have a 3,000 litre rainwater tank on the project. You can choose not to put it on there. This project didn't have it on the plans, but I made sure that we had an allowance in there. Internal thickening footings. Inside the base build, we're going to allow for footings to go around the perimeter of the property. Not every project has internal thickening footings. We're going to make an assumption that this project is going to have internal thickening footings based on the location we're building and based on the soil that's going to be required. So we're doing a rough measurement. You don't need to do a measurement. You can make an educated decision. And as you can see, we've already tallied up to about 102 linear meters. When we go into the estimate, we're going to add a 5 and 50 twice. We're counting where the pad piers are going to be located. We don't need to be absolutely perfect. We're trying to achieve close enough is good enough. As you see with the quantities, we're just building what is the quantity required. As we go into board piers, we're going to make a decision that we're going to do an educated guess of how many board piers go into the project. When we go into windows, there's a standard inclusion with windows. It's going to include builder's standard windows and a sliding door. But with this particular project, we've got awning windows, we've got double aluminium glazed doors, we've got single aluminium glazed doors, and we've got casement windows. So we are going to do a measure and quantify of how many is required, as you can see what we're doing through here. Every time you go into a new element into the price library, it will always tell you what the base inclusions are. And as you go down into the price library, we're going to be adding everything that is outside the standard scope. This is what will build the features that go into the PDF. You'll be able to highlight to the client the construction costings that go into the project. As you see here, we're going into the double aluminium glazed doors and we're going to count how many done. Now, we're going to move slowly away from doing the traditional method of counting and measuring. As you can see here, yes, we are being very thorough, and yes, we are counting everything that does need to be required. As we move into the external walls, what we are allowing is a paint finish. This project, when we looked at the elevations, has face brick. So what our responsibility here is, we're going to use our linear meter tool and we're going to measure the actual linear meters. You can make an educated decision based on the total linear meters. Now we know by looking at this project, the perimeter of the project is not 50 square meters, 50 linear meters. So we can expect something that's going to be approximately about 80 linear meters, or anywhere between 80 to 100. As we measure the upper floor, it's going to be the same thing. Total linear meters of the project is 140 linear meters. You can make an educated decision and populate that into the estimate to speed up your estimating process. 50 plus 50 plus 30 plus 10 equals 140. We are going to add in a aluminium pergola, which is found on the outdoor patio, approximately 25 square meters. Now we're going to skip into a different element of estimating, and we're going to show you how the benefits of this program really start to kick in here. We're going to slowly move away from doing a proper measurement. Now, when we look at the kitchen, we know the island bench top's anywhere between 3.5 to 4 meters. So when we add 3.5 and 3.5 together, we're probably going to get about 7 meters. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 8 meters. We're not asking to be perfect. We're trying to cover a realistic cost. And as you can see here, you can quite quickly move through these additional elements for cabinets and joinery, adding items as you wish. Now, this is going to increase the construction price of the project, but ultimately what we want you to do is sit down with the client, show the client where the money is spent, and then you can make a decision of what stays in and what goes out. As you look again, there is base inclusions that does say what is included. With the laundry, we've got bench top, overhead cupboards, and a linen cupboard to allow for. We allowed additional downlight because there was only one downlight allowed in the base build. We made an assumption due to the size we're going to have 2 downlights. As we go into the ensuite will tell us the inclusions, and as we look at the plan, we can take a memory of what's going to include in the plan, and then we're just going to add our features. We needed to add a second basin, and we needed to add in, I believe, full height tiling. We're just adding in underfloor heating due to a client's request. And the concept of what we're trying to achieve with estimating here is we want you to show the client the additional construction costs that blow up the project, or maybe increase the project, or put the project potentially over budget. As we move to the bathroom, we're adding in all the fixtures and fittings that are outside the base build. As you see with this project, there is a second shower. When you add a shower kit, that's going to add you a shower head, additional screening and additional tiling that goes into the estimation. With the main living area, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the plan and I am going to measure to you what the main living area is. You'll notice as we do the main living area, we do go through the kitchen. We're not trying to be absolutely perfect with what we're trying to achieve here. We're just trying to capture area and make sure that we do know what's included and make sure we do capture all our costs. So as we go through and highlight this, there's items like a bench top that needs to be allowed. There's items like a fireplace, some linens, additional powder room. And these are all items that are found in each element. You can see that we've only got 4 downlights, so we need to add a considerable amount of downlights and a considerable amount of pendant lights, potentially, along with power points. This particular project does have a powder room, which is not included in the base build. So we will need to go into the other items and add in a powder room. Linen cupboards have been added as an extra. You see in the bottom right hand corner there's a study. Underneath cabinets and joinery we have allowed for the study bench top. We've added the fireplace, we added the additional powder room. Moving on to the bedrooms. The bedrooms is the same process as everywhere else. We've advised what the base inclusions are, and then as we go through looking at the plan, we can speed up our estimating process and make suitable decisions. We're going to put more power points, more downlights. We're going to add a TV point, and we're going to add some ceiling fans. We're going to go into cabinets and joinery. We're not going to specifically measure, we're going to make a suitable assumption. 2, 2 and 2. Bedroom 2, you will notice that we've got 2 downlights and 2 power points. As we look at bedroom 2, there's actually nothing in bedroom 2 that is outside of our normal. We might add in some more downlights, but we don't need to add any more elements in. When we go to bedroom 3, we do have a mirror sliding door in our robe. That's not included in our base. As we go to cabinets and joinery, you are going to be able to add in a mirror slided robe. Bedroom 4 is an empty room. If you look at the plans, there's nothing inside that room. Bedroom 5 does have a mirror slided robe, and we're going to make sure we capture that cost. Heating and cooling, we're going to make a decision based on what size we want to put into the project. We're going to choose the most expensive option, and from here we can save and see our construction cost. As you can see, our starting point for the house only is $1.8 to $1.9 million. You can change these settings by changing the complexity, you can change the fixtures and fittings schedule, and you can change the type of builder. What we're going to cover now is the external works. These external works will always come up in the additional construction costings, provided you have our rates package included into your program. And what we're going to do to start off with is I'm just going to calibrate the site plan to make sure that we can capture our quantities correctly. These plans aren't exactly the best plans, but what we are going to do is we're going to make our best decision of where we're going to put landscaping and where we're going to put paving. What we're going to measure now is the grass and shrub area of garden and shrub, where we're going to be putting plants and we're going to be making allowances for costings. We do have 104 square meters. That doesn't necessarily mean we have to put 104 square meters in. You can put in 104, you can put in 150. With a large property, I'm sure there's ways we can put in more additional costs. We're going to add an irrigation system, we're going to add garden lights, there's option to do grass, fencing, all elements that are allocated to landscaping. $140 square meters of grass, so we're going to go 50-50 twice and 20-20 twice. 140. With our external floor treatments, we're going to do traditional paving. Now, paving is measured in lineal meters and also available to be measured in square meters. We're going to leave the driveway out for this purpose, as that's captured in another element of the estimate. As you can see here with my style of estimating, I am not being perfect with how I'm measuring. I'm measuring close enough is good enough. As we are trying to set a budget for the construction cost of the project, we want to be as fast as possible. It doesn't mean we have to be as precise as possible. To be honest, we don't really even need to take this step of doing a proper accurate measure. We could say 200 square meters of paving, go straight into our program and add 200 square meters of paving. As you see, after this takeoff has been completed, we will be able to know what the paving area is, but there's nothing to say that you have to do this perfectly. We're trying to achieve a construction cost for a budget, and we're trying to get to a starting point. 150 square meters, so if we went 44 times, we are going to cover a 15-meter driveway, and we are going to do a little bit of timber framing and deck that is to the outside near the pergola. External works, we are going to add in some external electrical. So for example, weatherproof power points, fluoros to garages, external wall lights. We can do CCTV, we can do PV systems and intercoms. These are all features we can add into an estimate. It's your decision if you wish to add it in. We have options to go into gates. You can add in single gates, automatic gates, and additional garage doors. This does have an auto gate to the front of the property. As you go into automatic sliding gates, there's the price. We're going to put in some more traditional items that are in the external, so like clotheslines, letterboxes, possibly sheds, outdoor showers, barbecues. Now, the most important part of doing an estimate is to allow contingency. Contingency is very important. Sometimes in an estimation, when a build deck is medium level or high level complexity, we still want to add in additional labor days for all the trades and suppliers. You can also add in material handling as additional costs to go over the top. From here, you can save and you can see your final construction price. So we've added $465,000 to $514 in additional construction costings to get our final construction price $2 million to $2.1 million. From this next step, if you don't feel comfortable with that construction price, you can change the complexity, and the complexity will increase the price. Once we are ready to print the PDF, our next step here is to choose the settings that we want to print. What we will do in our first step is we will print all the settings and we'll run through what's included in the PDF. From here, you're going to be able to export the PDF and you can see all the construction costings that you've done. This might potentially be your copy, which is the builder's estimate, is showing you everything that you've entered into the program, showing you all the additional construction costings. So all these additional items that have been added into the project. There is another report we can produce where we hide builder's fees, and we can also hide some of the additional reporting that goes into these estimates. By unticking some of these boxes, you're going to be able to take away pages in the PDF. For some particular clients, you might just want to do the cover page, construction price, and a specific layout. So if you hit PDF, you're going to be able to see the final construction price. This will be all that gets sent to the client. At the end of the day, what happens with estimating online is the power is yours. The power is to make a decision on the final construction price. The power is to change the type of builder you're working with. The power is to change the complexity. The power is also to change the finishing schedule that's required on the project. Ultimately, we want you to spend anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes to get a construction price.